Good evening, everyone. Good evening. How are you? It is Minister Keisha L. Peterson, and I want to welcome you to the Absolute Word Ministries Black History Month celebration as we continue on celebrating this month. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Harry T. Moore and Shirley Chisholm. Now, I know a lot of you have heard of Shirley Chisholm, Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, and I know a lot of you have not heard of Harry T. Moore. In my many years on this earth, I have never heard of Harry T. Moore, so I am learning a lot myself as we continue on with our celebration of Black History Month. So tonight we're going to start off with Harry T. Moore. We're going to start with Harry Moore. Harry T. Moore knew he was a marked man. He helped sign up black voters throughout the state in the 1930s and 40s. He organized more than 50 Florida branches of the NAACP and investigated lynchings around the state. I do apologize. I do apologize. I tell you, Murphy's Law, Murphy's Law. I'm not sure if y'all saw that come up on the screen, but I'm just going to take it that you did, be that I am sharing the screen. It was his insistence on equal rights and his refusal to be intimidated that led to his killing on Christmas night, 1951, in the small city of Mims in East Central Florida. Moore's wife, Harriet, also was killed by the bomb set beneath their home. Harry and Harriet Moore were the first martyrs of the civil rights movement, said Sonia Mallard, coordinator for the Harry and Harriet Moore Memorial Park and Museum in Mims, which is built on the spot where the Moores were murdered. Harry T. Moore got over 116,000 blacks to vote. Remember, voting is a big thing. And for Harry T. Moore to do that, he traveled the back roads in Florida with threats against his life. Born in the small Florida town of Houston in Suwannee County, Moore moved to Florida's East Coast at age 19 to take a teaching job after graduating from college. One night while playing bid whist, a card game that was popular in the black community, he met Harriet Sims, his future bride-to-be. He fell in love instantly, Mallard said. She was 3 years older than him and she was taller than him, but they fell in love. The couple married on December 25th, 1926. Harriet left her job as an insurance agent and became a teacher. Harry soon was named principal of the area's, I'm sorry, Harry soon was named principal of the area's all-black school. However, it was his quest for equality for black citizens that led him to seek out more than just being a teacher. So in 1934, Harry organized the first Brevard County branch of the NAACP. He went on to organize some 50 more branches of the NAACP throughout Florida. Harry thought that even if a black person could not be elected, black voters certainly could use their leverage to support candidates who expressed an interest in doing better for black citizens. Of course, that upset the status quo, Gary said. Many politicians and others became alarmed at this turn of events. So today we salute you, Mr. Harry T. Moore, in honor of Black History Month 2020. You can, and I encourage you to, you can read the full article at floridatoday.com. Okay, that is floridatoday.com. I encourage you to go on there and to check out the full article. It is so it's enlightening, and as it states that our vote matters. Sometimes things might not go the way we would want them, but if we get out to vote, if we all get out and make a way for everyone in our family or everyone in our community to come out and vote, I wish I had the means to do what is it to transport people, to the voting polls on election day. But I encourage you to please get out and vote. If you are 18 and over, please get out and vote. Okay, so we are going to move on. We are going to move on as we go on over and discuss about Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, yes. Chisholm was first elected to Congress in 1968, and when she stepped onto the floor of the House of Representatives, she quickly became known not for her race or gender, but for being outspoken and unafraid to fight for what she believed in. I have no intention of just sitting quietly and observing. I intend to speak out immediately in order to focus on the nation's problems, Chisholm said at the time. In her first floor speech on March 26, 1969, she spoke out against the Vietnam War, vowing to vote against any new military spending. She fought for immigrant rights, to improve access to education, and to help create the Consumer Product Safety Commission, according to her House of Representatives biography. Can you imagine being a woman and black in Congress then? California Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who once worked for Chisholm, tells, I'm sorry, tells Vedyanathan, some of the men in Congress did not respect her. She just stood out and they didn't get her. But she wouldn't back down. She didn't go along to get along. She went to change things. In 1972, just a few years after being elected to Congress, Shirley Chisholm announced that she was seeking the Democratic nomination for the presidency, running against politicians like George McGovern, Hubert Humphrey, George Wallace. But while Chisholm admitted that she never expected to win and her campaign was largely symbolic, she ran in order to prove that Americans would vote for a black woman. I stand before you today to repudiate the ridiculous notion that the American people will not vote for qualified candidates simply because he is not white or because she is not a male. Chisholm told supporters when she launched her campaign, I do not believe that in 1972, the great majority of Americans will continue to harbor such narrow and petty prejudice. Mm. Chisholm's campaign wasn't easy. During the road to the primaries, she survived multiple assassination attempts, sued to make sure she would appear in televised debates, and fought her way onto the primary ballots in 12 states. Though she didn't win in the end, Chisholm won 10% of the total votes at the Democratic National Convention, clearing a path for future candidates that weren't white or male. Today, we salute you, Miss Shirley Chisholm, in honor of Black History Month 2020. You and I encourage you to go and read the complete article at www.smithsonianmag.com. So it's not the Smithsonian, okay? It is Smithsonian mag.com. And I when I got to the part to where um she said they would vote for a qualified candidate. It kind of made me laugh because I look at what we are currently going through, and I believe that Congresswoman Chisholm would not be a happy camper to see what has occurred, what we as citizens have allowed to occur. So we must get out to vote. No matter who you vote for, we must get out to vote. Every vote counts. And every vote that you don't cast also counts. And you're wondering, how does that also count? Because it's saying if we have 1,000 people in an area, 1,000 African American in one area, okay? This is just an example, okay? And only out of those 1,000 people go out to vote. That means that only out of the 1,000, only 50 of us go out and vote. That means that the other 950's vote is not going to be cast, nor will it be, it's hindering. It can hinder the person that we are trying to elect. Okay, so if we all come together and decide to vote for one particular person and put all of our eggs in that basket, because we we have confidence in that person. Okay, so we have to get out and vote. Now, who's to say we might not agree with our party's candidate? You still need to get out and vote. Okay, as they say, you don't cast a vote, you have no say in what happens in society morally. Okay, but if you cast your vote, you have every right. You have every right to say what you don't like. You have every right to voice your opinions on laws um, that are being introduced. You have every right as a registered voter, as an acting member of society. You know, we must stop thinking, old and young. We must stop thinking, oh, they're going to put in there whoever they want. My vote doesn't count. You see what's going on now? Make your vote count. I thank you all for joining us, and I look forward to uh, joining you guys tomorrow night as we continue on our Black History celebration for the month of February. We will be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Love you and have a wonderful evening.